Level 1. The floppy baby. You're born seemingly healthy, except for one detail doctors notice immediately. You're unusually weak, floppy, almost like your muscles haven't fully connected to your brain's signals yet. You struggle to nurse. Your suck reflex is too weak to feed properly. Your parents watch you get fed through a tube for the first weeks of your life because your body won't cooperate with something as basic as eating. Genetic testing reveals the cause. A missing piece of chromosome 15 inherited from your father's side. The condition is called Prader-Willi syndrome. The geneticist explains it carefully to your parents. This isn't something that happened because of anything they did. It's a random genetic deletion, occurring in roughly 1 out of every 15,000 births. For your first 2 years, you're underweight, weak, slow to hit developmental milestones. Your parents brace for a childhood defined by feeding struggles and frailty. Nobody warns them about what comes next. Level 2. The switch flips. You're 3 years old. Something changes, gradually at first, then unmistakably. The same body that once refused to eat now seems unable to stop wanting to. Your hypothalamus, the part of the brain responsible for telling you when you're full, doesn't work the way it does in other people. Scientists believe the deletion on chromosome 15 disrupts the signals that should tell your brain, you've had enough. For you, that signal essentially never arrives. You can eat a full meal and still feel like you're starving 5 minutes later. Not as a feeling you can reason your way past. As a physical sensation, as real and urgent as actual starvation. Your parents notice you sneaking food. Crackers hidden in your pockets. Half a loaf of bread gone from the kitchen, and you have no memory of feeling like you decided to eat it. It just happened, the way breathing just happens. They take you back to the specialist. She explains gently that this isn't a phase, and it isn't something you'll grow out of. Hyperphagia, the medical term for the relentless, insatiable hunger that defines Prader-Willi syndrome, often begins around this exact age and lasts a lifetime. Your parents leave that appointment with a diagnosis that sounds almost unbelievable. Their child will need to be protected from food, the way other children need to be protected from traffic or strangers. Level 3. The locks. You're 6 now. Your house doesn't look like other kids' houses anymore. The refrigerator has a lock on it. The pantry has a lock on it. The cabinets where snacks used to live now require a key your parents keep with them at all times. It's not punishment. It's survival. Without external limits, kids with your condition will eat until something stops them, sometimes until their stomach physically ruptures, a known and documented risk in untreated cases. You don't fully understand why the locks exist. You just know that the hunger doesn't care about logic, and the locks are the only thing standing between you and eating everything in the house in a single sitting. At school, this becomes its own nightmare. You go through other kids' lunchboxes when nobody's looking. You're caught taking food from the cafeteria trash. Teachers who don't understand the condition assume you're being defiant or that your parents aren't feeding you at home. Your parents have to explain, again and again, to teachers, to coaches, to other parents at birthday parties, that this isn't a behavior problem. It's neurological. Your brain receives a hunger signal so powerful that resisting it isn't a matter of willpower, the same way resisting the need to breathe isn't a matter of willpower. But explaining it doesn't stop the stares, doesn't stop the whispers, doesn't stop you from feeling, even at 6 years old, like something is fundamentally wrong with you that other kids don't have to carry. Level 4. Learning the rules. You're 10. Your entire life now runs on structure, because structure is the only thing that keeps the hunger from controlling everything. You eat exactly 3 meals and 2 snacks a day, on a strict schedule, with portions measured to the calorie. Your body needs roughly 60% of the calories a typical child your size needs, because Prader-Willi syndrome also slows your metabolism dramatically. The same illness that makes you constantly hungry also makes it far easier for you to gain weight from the food you do eat. It's a cruel combination, always hungry, burning fewer calories than anyone else. The two facts compound against each other every single day. You go to a special clinic that specializes in your condition. You meet other kids like you for the first time in your life. Kids who understand the specific exhaustion of feeling hungry in every cell of their body during a moment when they just finished eating 20 minutes ago. One of the older kids, a teenager named Dev, tells you something that sticks with you. He says the hunger never goes away, but you can learn to carry it differently. Not fight it exactly. Build a life around it instead, the same way someone manages a chronic illness instead of expecting to be cured of it. You start therapy specifically designed for Prader-Willi behavioral patterns. You learn coping strategies, distraction techniques, ways to occupy your hands and your mind during the worst hunger spikes, it helps. Some days. Other days, nothing helps, and you cry in your room because your own body feels like a trap you'll never escape. If this story is hitting you right now, this is the moment to hit subscribe, because what happens during your teenage years is where the real fight begins. Drop a comment with the word hunger if you're still watching. Now, back to the story. Level 5. The teenage years. You're 14. Puberty complicates everything. Your hormones, already disrupted by the genetic deletion, create new challenges. Growth hormone deficiency is common in Prader-Willi syndrome, so you start a daily growth hormone injection, a treatment that's become standard care for kids with your condition, helping with height, muscle tone, and metabolism. It helps your body. It doesn't touch the hunger. At school, you're now old enough to understand exactly how different you are, and that understanding is its own kind of pain. You watch classmates eat whatever they want without consequence, while you measure out 1,100 calories a day under a doctor's strict supervision just to maintain a stable weight. You develop something close to an obsession with food that has nothing to do with enjoyment. You think about your next meal constantly. You memorize calorie counts the way other kids memorize song lyrics. Food isn't pleasure for you. It's a battlefield you wake up on every single morning. Your parents install cameras in the kitchen, not out of distrust, but because hiding food and sneaking food are documented, almost universal behaviors in kids with your condition, driven by a hunger drive stronger than most adults could imagine resisting. You know intellectually that the locks and the cameras exist to protect you. Emotionally, some days, it feels like living under surveillance for a crime you never chose to commit. You also start to notice something else. Other features of the syndrome beyond hunger. Skin picking, a compulsive behavior common in Prader-Willi syndrome that you struggle to control. Rigid thinking patterns that make sudden changes to your schedule feel unbearably distressing. Your brain isn't just fighting you on food. It's fighting you on multiple fronts you never asked for. Level 6. Finding your people. You're 17. You join an online community for teens with Prader-Willi syndrome, and for the first time, you don't have to explain yourself from scratch. Everyone here understands the locks on the fridge. Everyone here understands measuring food to the gram. Everyone here understands what it feels like to be hungry in a way that never, ever stops. You meet a girl named Priya through the group, 2 states away, also living with the syndrome. You talk every day. She tells you about a moment that made her finally feel understood, when her new doctor said something nobody had ever said to her before. Your hunger is real. It's not a character flaw. It's biology fighting against you, and you're allowed to be exhausted by that fight. You start to build an identity around something other than the syndrome. You discover you're good at painting, something that occupies your hands during the worst hunger spikes and gives you a sense of accomplishment that has nothing to do with food. You start speaking publicly, first at a small support group, then at a regional conference, about what it's actually like living inside a body that never tells you you're full. Parents of younger kids with the syndrome come up to you afterward, crying, thanking you for giving them a window into what their child might be experiencing but can't yet put into words. For the first time, the syndrome starts to feel less like a life sentence and more like a piece of a much bigger story you're still writing. Level 7. Independence. You're 22. You move into a supervised living facility designed specifically for adults with Prader-Willi syndrome, a place where every kitchen is locked the way your childhood kitchen was, except now the staff understands exactly why, and so does every other resident. It's strange, choosing a level of structure most people your age are actively trying to escape. But you've learned something most people never have to learn. Total freedom around food isn't actually freedom for you. It's danger. You get a part-time job at a local nursery, working with plants, a job your caseworker found specifically because it keeps you physically active and mentally engaged in something that has nothing to do with food. You date. It's complicated, the same way it was for the woman with the water allergy you might have heard about elsewhere, except your complication is different. You have to explain, early and clearly, why you can't go to certain restaurants, why meal times need structure, why your partner needs to understand this isn't negotiable. The people who stay are the people who get it. The people who don't stay teach you something too, about which relationships are built to handle a life like yours. You're not cured. You'll never be cured. But you've built a life that works around the thing that will never stop trying to control you. Level 8. The life you built. You're 30 now. 24 years since the day your parents installed the first lock on your childhood refrigerator. The hunger is still there. It will always be there, a permanent resident in your body that never checks out. Some days it's a quiet hum in the background. Other days it's a roar that takes everything you have to sit with instead of act on. But you've built a life around it instead of being consumed by it. A job that keeps you moving. A community that understands you without explanation. A partner who learned, the way Mara learned for someone else, how to support you without flinching at your reality. You speak at conferences now. Researchers studying Prader-Willi syndrome ask you to describe your internal experience, because lived experience like yours helps shape better treatments for the kids being diagnosed today. And somewhere right now, a baby is being born with the same missing piece of chromosome 15, too weak in their first weeks of life to even nurse properly. Their parents have no idea what's coming, no idea about the locks, the schedules, the hunger that will arrive almost overnight around age 3 and never fully leave. But they also don't know yet what you know now. That a body fighting against you doesn't have to define the whole of who you are. That structure can become a form of freedom instead of a cage. That the hardest battles can still produce the most resilient people. The hunger doesn't go away. But neither do you. If this story kept you watching until the end, that's exactly why this channel exists. Subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments, which level would be hardest for you to live through?